There are two types of volunteering in general and volunteering in Europe. And I did them both, and I'm going to share my real photos, my real experience. And the main question is, which of those two types should you choose if you're going to volunteer? Because, yeah, different goals bring different volunteering types. The first one is individual volunteering, and the second one is volunteering programs. The examples are here. Maybe it's already pretty clear for people who did a lot of volunteering in their life. So individual volunteering, I would say it's something like worldpackers, Workaway, helpx, and websites like that. And I highlighted my program here. It was Workaway, and I have another video about this program too. And volunteering programs are programs like the UN volunteering or AIESEC volunteering, or what I did was European Solidarity Corps volunteering. That's like this. This is pretty simple. Individual volunteering, how I see it, is like there is you, us, and we're looking for some volunteering. We're like, hey, I would like to have a project. And there are also some hosts somewhere on the internet. They're saying, hey, I have a project. For example, I need help with my kids. I really need help with my kids. Please come and help me. Or like, we have a farm and you can come and help. And we will give you meals and accommodation. That's usually the deal with individual volunteering, but we will come to it later. So you text hosts and you just say, hey, I like your project, everything sounds fine for me, or you say, everything sounds fine for me, but can we change this or that? In any case, there are no applications, it's just you texting people. Those are messages, and it's like an agreement between two people, between two individuals, and there is no contract or stuff like that. That's pretty simple. That's individual volunteering. So some websites where people publish their ideas, how can you help them? And volunteering programs are way more complicated. What we see here, so it's you or us, all of us, we are looking for a volunteering project. So on this stage, it's kind of the same. So nothing changes. And we have some hosts, and they also post their volunteering projects and say, hey, we have an organization, and for example, we need help with social media, or we are a wild park and we need some help for our animals, and so on. On this stage looks kind of the same, yeah? So you see projects, post projects. Okay, but there is something interesting over there. It's sending organizations. So sometimes, like for example, in European Solidarity Corps, my program, some extra organizations are involved. No, not sometimes, like there are always some organizations involved. Sending organization sends you to the project. Basically, they're responsible for you. So now you are not going individually, you have someone who can answer all your questions, who actually should keep an eye on you and stuff like that. So there is someone in your country. So you sign a contract or you sign an agreement, you sign it all together. And the other difference is when you are looking for a project, when you apply, you don't tax them like in individual volunteering. You apply with the whole thing, the whole application is there. For example, you apply with your CV, your motivation letter. Sometimes they ask you for a video presentation or your portfolio, or oh my god, I was lost with my fingers. What else can it be? It can be just a huge pool you need to fill in and stuff like that. So you apply, it's an official program, and then you sign an agreement or a contract or whatever. But there is something interesting also here. Money. Money come. There is the whole program above, the European Solidarity Corps program, in my case. Who is running this program? It's the European Union. So they give money to the program, and then the program gives money to hosts, and hosts give money to volunteers. That's why programs can be funded, partially funded or fully funded, like my program was, but you can get some money for, like, I don't know, your flights, accommodation, for public transport or whatever. I hope you are not bored. We're going to more interesting things. I swear, I promise. So we are talking about competition now. Is it hard to go to individual volunteering, comparing to like volunteering programs, I would say 2-2. What's the score? Yeah. 2 months I was looking for an individual project. For 2 months I was looking for a volunteering program for a project also. So for me, it was kind of the same. I don't know, I didn't notice that big difference, but I should say that programs, of course, they have a lot of requirements. Usually they say, yeah, you should be like from 18 to 30, or you should have some particular skills, and so on, so on, so on. It's a little bit more complicated in a way that they ask for things, but if you go with their requirements, it's pretty easy as individual volunteering. Now, do we need to pay something? For my European Solidarity Corps, I paid nothing. Actually, they paid me. They covered my food, amazing accommodation, I would say, public transport, flights, visa, language courses, trainings. They gave us a bike, gave us pocket money, and we paid 0 to participate. And that sounds wow. But not all volunteering programs are like that. About my Workaway, I paid, I think, 59 euros to just have access for the website where you can text hosts. Is it a lot? I don't know. I think if you're going to travel pretty a lot, this is a good price. If you're going to do it only once, maybe not the best. Yeah, that's my opinion on it. Individual volunteering, that's what they provide. 2 things, sometimes even only 1 thing, only accommodation if you are doing pet sitting or house sitting, but a really good house, yeah. Yeah, okay. Sometimes they can provide something more, like they can give you a bike, at least you have some transport. And programs, they can give you a lot. As I said, they can be absolutely fully funded. Again, not all programs are like this. It depends on the program, but mine was fully funded. That's great. Location. Yeah, okay. I did my Erasmus, aka European Solidarity Corps in Amsterdam, and I would say most of programs are in big cities or just in cities, towns, and so on. They are not in villages, not countryside, because they have their organizations and associations in cities. Of course, if you are thinking about traveling to some other cities, I think maybe programs would be a better choice, because Workaway, especially helpx, is about countryside. So we worked in a camping. There was absolutely nothing around, nothing, but for some people and for some purposes, it's really cool. If you're going to make some videos, for example, if you're going to be disconnected from the world, that's great. That's not bad. The picture is, it's Osh. It's the nearest village. That's how you can choose. And now we are going to accommodation. So everyone who watched my video about my Workaway experience, they probably remember about our awful situation with accommodation. Long story short, we were promised at least a van or a room in a guest house, but in fact, we were living in a tent. It's not the tent, I don't have the picture, but we had to live in a tent. One of the reasons why we left this project also earlier. That's the type of accommodation for individual volunteering. It might happen, not necessarily, but still. And this is my accommodation for Erasmus volunteering. This is our house. This is our living room, our garden. We were living like 4 volunteers together. It was absolutely great. We had a lot of parties. We had a lot of beautiful moments all together. But at the same time, we had our own rooms. This is my room. It was pretty big. It was really cool. Great furniture also. Yeah, I loved it. And talking about program volunteering, again, it might be different. Sometimes you have your own room somewhere. Sometimes you might have even a flat. Once, while I was looking for my ESC project, I saw a project in Brussels, I think, with a studio. And I was like, wow, what do you mean? Like, I can have my own apartment as a volunteer? That sounds great. Again, it's not always like this. For example, for Erasmus volunteering, the rules are stricter, so accommodation is usually good. And And we go to working hours and working conditions. In Amsterdam, for my Erasmus volunteering program, I was a videographer in a musical venue. It was a lot of fun. I was also a photographer, actually. And my workaway, it was about service, cleaning, stuff like that. I wanted to go to a very creative project. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We were not chosen in the end. And it's really important when you go to such volunteering to just keep in mind what you actually want from this project. Will you grow with this project? Do you actually want to grow? That's also important. Maybe you just want to chill, not thinking about anything else. Volunteering programs, they are more oriented on skills, and it's more like some kind of experience, you know. And Workaway is more like physical help. Programs are more about intellectual work, creative work, and things like that. What's that? That's the subscription moment. Yeah. And I call it a moment because like it's just one small moment. If you click to subscribe, if you want to have more videos from me, if you like them, if you like talking about volunteering or like life in France, life in Europe and stuff like this, nice moment to do that. Subscription time. 1, 2, 3. So now the most pleasant moment is about free time. Yay! So on my workaway, individual volunteering, we had a swimming pool, we had a hammock, and I don't know, that's pretty much it. So it was a little bit boring during free time, and we had a lot of free time, so we needed to kill it. We had some board games, but I think that's it. It was very hard to go away from the camping because everything was too far. The nearest supermarket, for example, you need to walk like 2 hours. And in Amsterdam, it was a lot of fun. First of all, it was a year, so it's pretty long. We had a lot of parties. We had like this one is a corporate party on a boat, and it was organized by our organization. So everything was paid, and we had several parties like this. We had after parties after our events all the time. Also, we traveled a lot. We traveled for free by bike. Yeah, this picture actually, it was our 2-hour trip to the sea by bike. It's not like we were always spending a lot of money on trips. No, we had bikes, so that was fine. I traveled that time not only in the Netherlands, but also I went to Belgium, France, Portugal, Spain. Great time, but also because I had a year to do so. Oh no, I forgot about outputs. Talking about outputs, I wanted to show you a piece of paper, and I don't know where is it. I will add it here somehow. So this is a youth pass. They give you this after your volunteering program, and it's a pretty nice thing. Actually, after a year, I got a lot of new skills. I got a lot of networking, met a lot of people, had a lot of beautiful moments, and in general, it was one of my best years in life. And about outputs for individual volunteering, I didn't have any outputs, except in general I had this experience to go for Workaway for the first time. But I'm pretty sure I could if I would have gone for a better project, better for me, more suitable. I will keep some thoughts for the conclusion, and it's coming. While I was making this video, while I was preparing everything, I made a small booklet about my top volunteering programs. It's actually both. It's individual volunteering and volunteering programs. So you can download this one for free. I will leave the link somewhere in the description. I made it because I trust it, because I want to share it. So just grab it. I think it's a nice thing to choose for someone who doesn't know yet what kind of volunteering they want to do. For someone who is looking for a new volunteering program. Okay, conclusion. Let's go. So, what do you think? I think individual volunteering is really, really cool for traveling, especially if you change one location to another one. I think it's also really cool if you want to practice a local language, not English. English is here. For example, you learn Italian. So I think individual volunteering is really great to go to Italy and practice with your host, with, I don't know, guests or some other people who will be there. But on programs, it's all the time English, English, English. If you need to practice English, this is a good thing. But local languages here, that's what I see now. Another thing, I think Workaway is good for some job experience. For example, I was thinking to start working in a hotel, but I don't have any experience like that. So I was like, what if I start with a small Workaway program, like for a couple of weeks, and then I have my official job experience, and then I can continue working in this field. Volunteering programs are more career oriented. If you are going to develop your career, if you're going to enter university, this is cool, especially with such things as youth passes, the one I showed you. It's a good thing to enter a European university. Skills, career, especially the UN volunteering, oh my god. And if you're going to participate in some other programs in future, maybe Erasmus projects also. I did this. So I started with Erasmus volunteering, and then I went to some other Erasmus programs, and then I became a facilitator, a group leader, and so that's good. That's good. And of course, it's good for a gap year. It's just longer. Maybe I didn't mention it before, but volunteering programs are usually longer. So it's like from 6 months to 12 months comparing to individual volunteering. Individual volunteering, you decide by yourself what you want. You look for projects like that. You agree with the host, but it's way shorter. That's the conclusion. And I'm really curious about your opinion about your experience and anything. Guys, I was so scared of comments before I started my YouTube channel, but I freaking love reading your comments. It's always so cool, so kind, so interesting. And if you have any questions, let me know, and let me know what's your choice. And this picture was made also in Amsterdam, so in our musical venue. We had a lot of after parties here, so yeah. Volunteering might be really, really nice time for you, and I hope you will have such time.